Every morning, Miguel and Holly reveal Charlotte's deepest and darkest secrets.
It's Queen City Confessions with Miguel and Holly. Hits 96.1.
If you ever want to get your confession in, just send it to us via text. Put the word hits with your confession and send it to 96893.
Here's the first Queen City confession. I love my soon-to-be stepdaughter, but every time that it's our time to get her, I almost dread it. It's because my fiance gets so overstimulated. I have a kid of my own that we have full time, and we only get his daughter part time, but he gets so overstimulated. I'm talking about to the point where I almost don't even want her to come over. And I hate that because I love her, but every time she's over, it causes me and my fiance to fight. And it's not little fights, it's stupid fights that blow up. And he basically calls me every name in the book, again, over something that shouldn't be an argument to begin with. I know it boils down to my fiance, but it's only when she's over.
You gotta have to have a serious talk. And unfortunately, in any kind of blended family situation, people get real defensive real quick. You've got kids from different parents. I'm part of like a stepmoms group on Facebook, and Lord, you should see some of the posts.
Oof.
But does your fiance know? Like, you keep saying overstimulated. I mean, is this a thing that happens? Is this you putting a word on what you think he's going through? What does he think about it? And you're going to have this conversation when she's not over, obviously. Right. Like, when both of you are in a pretty decent place, like feeling good, you can, bring it up, because you definitely need to talk about this, because it will never get better and it will only get worse. And that's not good for anybody.
And especially depending upon how old this daughter is. If she's like younger and about to hit the teen ages, that's just going to get worse. So you better go ahead and have that conversation now.
It's hard to blend a family. It's hard.
Here's another Queen City confession. My boyfriend has these so-called boys at nights, but there's no pictures, no post, nothing. Meanwhile, everyone else seems to be having a good old time on Instagram stories, but his friend group suddenly turns into secret agents every Saturday night. I'm actually thinking about slipping an AirTag into his shoes before the next boys' night. I mean, if he's just chilling with the guys, it's harmless, right? But if he's sneaking off to someone else's house, ...
Miguel, what do you think about this?
Girl, don't do it. Don't do it. Because maybe, like, my husband Abe is not a super social media person, and so I had to learn that about him, because sometimes it would annoy me. I'd be like, I'm always posting us and tagging you in it. Why aren't you doing that with me? But then he's just that is not the first thing in his mind.
Right.
And so I had to understand that. And so, I mean, maybe do a pop by and be like, if they're at Brandon's house hanging out, just pop by and be like, oh, you know what? I want to bring y'all a pizza. Have a good night. But I feel like putting an AirTag, because then how do you explain that?
You have to understand, if you're going to track someone, you have to be ready for that relationship to be over.
Right.
I would be livid if my fiance tracked me. Imagine if your man, this was turned around and he tracked you. Ooh, yeah. There's got to be another way, right? Like, you can maybe have a heart-to-heart about how you're uncomfortable, but like tracking someone.
I'm curious. Is there anyone in the Miguel and Holly fam that can call and say, I tracked my person? Did you put an AirTag in their car, in their bag, and they were not where they said they were going to be? What happened next? Call us up 1-844-HITS-961.
1-844-448-7961, or text HITS and your message to 96893.
Here's the last Queen City confession. I've been really trying to be a better person and stop talking about people behind their backs, but it's hard. Like, someone will say something wild or do something shady, and my brain immediately wants to vent to my best friend about it. Doesn't everyone need to let it out sometimes? But then I feel guilty. Like, what if they found out I said something? Would I want someone talking about me like that? Probably not.
Look at you having a very grown-up conversation in your own head.
I love it. Listen, that's one of the things that people don't talk about that's harder than what it seems, is not talking behind people's backs. You have to make an effort at not doing that.
Yeah, I fall off the rails sometimes. I will just want to sit and, but it's really not good, because you don't want someone doing that about you. And it's just not nice.
listen, as a person who loves to be nosy and hear all the drama, I get it. I'm right there with you because sometimes you be like, I want to come in here and tell Holly and producer Cal, be like, girl, let me tell you what happened this weekend.
And there's nothing better than that, right?
But I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What's something that people say is easy, but it's actually really hard? Like talking behind someone's back.
I'm trying to stop that behavior.
Right. So what's something that people say is easy, but it's actually really hard? Call us up 1-844-HITS-961.
1-844-448-7961 or text HITS and your message to 96893.
Right now, it's Sabrina Carpenter with Taste.